Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back again to Cannon Fodder TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. So no doubt you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to be talking about Champions League. Not today. Not today. I did see the draw and yeah, we're going to be talking about Champions League tomorrow, not so much today. I'm waiting for two guests, one of which is my brother. Another one is my brother from another mother, Prosper, brother, where art thou? Where are you? But we're going to get into this one on the other side of this music intro. Brother. Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back again to Cannon Fodder TV, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. And as I'm like just doing my intro, my brother from another mother, Prosper. Brother, how's it going, man? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Right, okay, all right. You're a little bit on a slant. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know why that is. But you can see me, you
Is
can
that
hear me.
okay?
Not really. I don't know what's happened there. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not sure what's happened there. Uh, I'm not sure what's happened there. Anyway, he's gone out. I'm sure he's going to come back in. Don't know what happened there. So that was my brother from another mother, Prosper. I'm waiting for my real brother, Ralph, to come in a little while. It seems like some people are going down with something. But like I said, I know that you're probably thinking that we're going to be talking about a Champions League. I don't think I'm going to be talking about the Champions League. I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's gone back on a slant again. Do you know what, Prosper? You can hear me, can't you?
I can hear you. I'm still on
Right,
this line.
you are, but don't worry about it. Don't worry. You can hear me. I can hear you. You can
Okay.
see me. Vice versa. But anyway, no worries about that, brother. How have you been? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I've been nursing my wounds, getting my mind together. It's been a lot happening at the club and in life. You can't handle all of them at the same time. But I've been
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah. And there are some things more important than others, because we're
Yeah.
playing on Sunday. And you know what I'm going to be doing on Sunday, Prosper?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be out with my daughter. I'm not going to be at home watching the football. There are other more
Okay.
important things to be doing, man. I'm sorry.
That's much better.
Absolutely. Have you got? Is that your children? Have you got somebody with you there?
Nope. I'm just with workers. I'm at the farm right now.
All right. Hello, workers. Hello, Arsenal. They support Arsenal, right?
Yeah, they've got their own teams. Haven't yet lowered them to Arsenal.
anyway, Prosper. So
Yeah,
I've got some news segments that I need to get through, and then maybe you can tell me your opinion about the news segments that I'm about to talk about. So the first
okay.
person I actually wanted to talk about was this gentleman here, Nico Pepe, is still at Arsenal, and apparently he has turned down a move um, to Besiktas. Are you
Mhm.
surprised that Nico Pepe is still with us, Prosper?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Why is that?
I think we've got a problem at Arsenal that we're not focusing on the crucial things. We're worried about the petty issues, and those are dragging the club down. Because
Right.
yeah, if I look at the situation of Nicolas Pepe, it was an issue of Arsenal should just give in something so that he gets off our wage bill, you
Mm,
know, and they
yeah.
couldn't do that, and now he's become a problem to us and us planning forward. So we have good players that we letting go of, like Tierney and maybe probably Emile Smith Rowe is not comfortable. Yet we keeping dead wood like Pepe on a wage bill, you know. So there's something seriously wrong at the club. We really need to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay, and the next player, again, transfer news basically, is Rob Holding. Now, Rob Holding is expected to leave Arsenal this week. Again, there's just one more day to go before the transfer window slams shut. Now, the defender has fallen way down the pecking order, and even the injury to Kieran Timber could not see Rob Holding get any minutes. The 27-year-old is keen to play regular football, but yeah. What about Rob Holding? I think you've wanted him to leave for the longest while, haven't you?
Yes, I mean, he doesn't just fit in. He
Yeah.
doesn't fit in the club, the style of play. He doesn't just fit in. Well, I can't talk much about the style of play because right now we don't have a style of play. But either way, Rob Holding doesn't fit in anything, even in the crazy situation, he doesn't fit in.
But what about as a squad player? Just as a squad player, because I know when William Saliba got injured last season, a lot of people got upset. And what we've got to remember is Rob Holding is no William Saliba. He's not on that level there. He's as a squad player, no, not even as a squad player.
As a squad player, maybe I would say we need numbers. Yes, we need numbers, but is he a priority? No, he's not.
He's not.
We've got critical positions that we're still not filling in, and we're worried about the pitch issues. That's why in my first statement I said we're worrying more about the small issues, and that those are the ones dragging us down. We're not looking at the critical issues.
And the player to my left, dear, Emile Smith Rowe, Prosper. Now, I didn't realize this, that Chelsea were looking at a swap deal with Mudryk coming our way and Emile Smith Rowe going their way. But apparently they've kind of given up hope on Emile Smith Rowe going to them over there, because Pochettino says, well, actually, I'm happy with the squad numbers that we have and the players we have. If we get an addition in the next 24 hours, then fair enough, but we're not looking for any other players. What's your thoughts on Emile Smith Rowe?
That one is a tough one. Tough pill to swallow. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give it out live and raw. Yeah. This is the Untamed Prosper. We're live on Arsenal TV, Canon Forwarder TV. So we have to speak our minds out. I don't know if Arteta is tuned in, but well, he has to get it as it is. I think we're having an almighty Arteta problem right now. He's become a problem. Because honestly, I'm looking at Emile Smith Rowe. When Arteta just came in, he had a problem in the midfield. Emile Smith Rowe and Nketiah literally bailed Arteta out in his first season.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, those boys really played ball. And they really made Arsenal stand out. And then he buys Odegaard and he forgets his past heroes. And that's typical of Arteta. He gets a new player, the old player is useless, he doesn't want him. I see a lot of immaturity in him and stubbornness. You can't have that as a manager. You can't lose core players like Emile Smith Rowe, because those are the core Arsenal, like blood Arsenal players. Those are the guys that hold the dressing room together, because they've been there ever since. And quality-wise, Emile Smith Rowe doesn't lack in any way. He's just a kind of different player that you need. He's more of a Bernardo Silva, the kind of player you need when the game is so tough, just to make that foul, to get that foul, to disturb the opponent defense. It shouldn't be basic football. And what I see in Arteta is any player that plays different from what he sees as football, he's out.
So would that explain why?
Yeah. So for me, that one is a tough pill to swallow. Honestly speaking,
yeah.
It's a big mistake. How do you bring in Havertz for Emile Smith Rowe? Explain that.
Well, personally, I can't.
Alex, are you here? Explain that, man. How do you bring in Havertz for Emile Smith Rowe?
Well, I can't explain it. I said over the course of the last 2 weeks that with Kai Havertz, I don't believe that you're
Hello.
going to see anything different from what he's done at
I
Chelsea.
didn't get the question.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? All right. So it looks like we've lost Prosper again there. I'm sure he'll come back in with his slanted vision there. From my morning show, I did say I'm not going to bang on about Kai Havertz again, but I think when Prosper comes in, I think Prosper will have to give his opinion about Kai Havertz, but I'm going to draw a line underneath this. So let's go onwards until he comes back in. So within the last, let's say 2 hours, I have heard the news about Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah receives first senior England call-up. Wow. So what do you do to get that then? Absolutely fantastic. Eddie Nketiah has been called up to the England squad for the up-and-coming Euros 2024. And oops, what have I done there? Sorry about this. And yeah, 24-year-old is the record scorer for the under-21s level with 16 goals, and now has his first chance to contribute to the senior level. So congratulations, at least, to Eddie Nketiah. I'm really happy for him. Really happy for him, and I think we need to recognize, and he deserves that. He deserves that. Brother Prosper, are you back with me? Can you hear?
Exactly.
Right. So we're just talking about.
Yes, I am.
Well, you were
I
talking
hope
about
you
Kai
can hear
Havertz.
me.
Yes, we can hear you. So you were talking about Kai Havertz, and you were asking me the question about how is it
Yes.
possible we can see a Kai Havertz playing ahead of an
I
Emile
was
Smith?
saying,
Yeah, tell me.
exactly. Football is not a one-man sport. It's not me playing football on a PlayStation or whatever console or on a computer or something. Football in the pitch is a totally different ball game, and Arteta has to learn that. When you play with someone for 2-3 years, you develop an understanding, develop a coordination. And that's what Emile Smith Rowe has had with all his fellow players, Saka, right from the youth team, Eddie Nketiah. So they have that understanding. Throw Emile Smith Rowe in the game with Saka and Eddie Nketiah there. You watch football flowing. Put Havertz there. He doesn't know where he is. He seems lost. He can't read the game. He's close to. I watched the last game. He's close to the goal, and he literally knows somebody's crossing the ball, and he doesn't even make the effort to go for it. That's a player who doesn't know what he's doing in the pitch. For me,
But Prosper, is that not down to
and
the
it was
manager?
just an impulse buy, same as Jorginho, impulse buying. Did we really need those players in those positions? No. Center midfield, we've got a lot of players in center midfield.
But is that not down to the manager, Prosper?
Exactly. The same point I'm saying. We've got a problem at Arsenal. We've got a problem because those are the positions that we don't really literally need players. Center midfield, we've got a lot of Samuel Lukonga, Declan Rice. Is it Declan Rice?
Yeah.
The other center midfielder we've got.
Yeah, Declan Rice.
It is. That's why I'm saying we're having an almighty Arteta now. You can't tell him nothing. He can't learn nothing from the previous seasons. Same mistake over and over again. And now we're getting rid of core players. How does Tierney go from holding a captain's armband, from being one of the best players in the club, to someone we don't need? Explain that. Emile Smith Rowe, the same. And I'm afraid even Eddie Nketiah is going the same path. He's just trying to find a good reason to keep him on the bench. And unfortunately, Jesus is not fit. That's why he's playing. You understand me?
I was going to talk about Kieran Tierney.
So, yeah, it all brings us back to where we started from. You told me about something like, okay, how do I assess the past 3 games? I would basically say it's ladies' luck. We won that charity shield because of ladies' luck. We haven't deserved anything. We got this draw because of ladies' luck. poor tactics, stubborn manager who doesn't want to change. He's still playing baby to Arteta. I'm Arteta's child, so I should emulate everything that Arteta, not Arteta, but I'm Pep. I'm Pep Guardiola's.
Completely understood.
Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. But Prosper,
Can you hear me, Alex?
I can hear you. So what about the other argument, Prosper, that it's only 3 games? Are we being too critical of the team? Because it's only been 3 games.
Network is kind of bad.
Oh. Yeah, I think Prosper has some serious problems there. I'm not sure what's going there. I think maybe it's the slantness there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on with my new segments at least until he comes back in. Oh, my brother's here. Oh my goodness. How's it going? How's it going, bro?
I'm good, Ajax. You okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're good, thank you. I've just been chomping on the bits with Prosper. Prosper has some audio problems as well as visual problems. Yeah.
Okay.
But,
can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Good.
I can hear you clearly.
Good.
So when Prosper comes back in, I've just been talking about Eddie Nketiah, Ralph. Eddie Nketiah has just received his first senior squad call-up for the Euros in 2024. The 24-year-old is the record goal scorer at under 21 level with 16 goals, and now has his first chance to contribute at a senior level. Are you surprised, Ralph?
Not really. I mean, he has been there or thereabouts, hasn't he? So he's consistent. He does his best. No, I'm not surprised. I'm glad he's got a call up. Maybe it might give him a bit more added sharpness to his game as well.
Yeah.
A bit of international experience that tends to bring up the best in you as well, doesn't it? So yeah, I would. I'm glad he's got a call up. Call up.
Yeah, it's well deserved anyway.
Yeah,
for him. And you may or may not know, Ralph, that Kieran Tierney has now left Arsenal on a loan deal to play with Real Sociedad, at least until the end of the season. He did give an interview about, there's a lot of speculation about, is there a rift between him and the manager? Your thoughts about Tierney is now left, Ralph? I don't think he'll come back.
Has he gone out on loan?
On a loan deal, yeah.
It's a hard one to call because you know how defensively lack we are.
The network is bad.
Hey, Prosper, okay?
Hi, brother. How are you? I'm good.
I'm well. All the better for seeing you.
Yeah. Same here, man. I'm happy to see you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying about Tierney.
Okay.
It's a very hard ask when you're asked a question if there's anything going on in your club. You don't want to say anything because, of course, the ramifications of being like a blabbermouth or snitch or something like that. At the same time, if there's anything that has been going on, then I think what he would do, he'll let his football do the talking, as it were, as he always has done. So I don't think he's that kind of person anyway. I think that he is a very astute young man and he's made of hard grit. I never forget that time when everyone was in long sleeves in the winter and he's there in his short sleeve, his top. It's like, it's nothing to him. The only thing that I would say is I just hope that he's healthy when he plays for them and he stays healthy, because that would be a really good foil for his inclusion into the Arsenal team if there's any plan for him there. But I wish him the best. I don't have anything again. I feel that we lose something when he's not playing. He's he may be a very up and down direct kind of defender, but sometimes that's what you want. You want somebody who can go up and down and provide like crosses into the box. All of the simple things that we've been crying out for. And he did, to a fair lesser degree last season and previous seasons, and he scored goals as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wish him the best. I wish him the best, but I feel like we're missing a trick here again.
Well, yeah, I mean, Prosper was just saying the same thing, because you look at, likes of Emile Smith Rowe, who's academy product, and then you've got players who've been, how can I say this, are stuck by the club and want to play for the club in Kieran Tierney. And what happens? You let Kieran Tierney go. You've got Emile Smith Rowe, and who are you playing? Who have you brought in? Kai Havertz in that position there. So, Prosper, I know you want to go on. You want to talk about that situation there, where we appear to be letting go of players who have been quite loyal to the club.
Yeah. And it's not only about loyalty, it's about performance. Honestly speaking, all the time Emile Smith Rowe has been put on the pitch, he's delivered. I've seen Havertz play 3 games? Nothing. Flat out. And he will get more games than Emile Smith Rowe. He starts the games. And you wonder what's happening at the club. Is it about Arteta having an issue with academy boys? He just wants to get rid of those boys. He's thinking they're growing bigger than him. There's something really wrong there.
But Prosper, as a manager, or whatever, whether it's in an industry, in an office, or whatever career, and you have a manager, your manager's there to get the best out of you, not the worst out of you. So sure, exactly. Is it not down to Mikel Arteta why we're not seeing the best of Kai Havertz?
Exactly, and if you, we've been having these discussions on the chat, we've been having them in all social media forums, and I've stuck to my guns. It's not about every good manager. I'll pick Ancelotti. I've followed Ancelotti for a long time. He'll pick an average player, and he'll keep him in a winning team. And that average player won't feel like he's an average player, and he'll give 110% because of the manager. What the manager does, the belief the manager shows in you. The personal building of a player, apart from what he sees on the pitch, apart from the football, what does the manager tell the players? How does he motivate them? How does he tell a player who's lost confidence, look here, you get it back together? For Arteta, it's only about, are you good enough to play? If you're performing, you play. If you are at your worst, I don't need you. Go out of Arsenal. You see? Or if I find somebody better than you, even if you've been playing your best football, you've been delivering, if I find anyone better than you, I'm going to chase you. That's what we're reading at Arsenal. He finds a replacement. If he finds a replacement for Saka, Saka will be out in no time. And that's Arteta. You just start sitting on the bench till forever, and that's what we're getting. There's something really wrong at the club. Seriously.
And also, Ralph, I'm not sure. Do you want to say something on top of that, Ralph? Or
yeah, I was listening to Prosper, and what he says is correct. My mind just flitted back actually, because I've been watching a lot of blogs today. I've in between working and blogs. I came across Cashy Cole. I have to say Cashy because that's the only way I don't want to disrespect him, but he was a young player from the ranks, and everybody placed on him the potential responsibility to handing over the baton to him, and he was going to be our captain. And he said in one of his interviews, he said that how the thing that made him go to Chelsea really was because Arsenal promised, and then they went back, they negated on their promise. I think David Dean said it's one of the regrets he had during his tenureship at the Arsenal as well. So when you've got a player that you've got you put your trust in, and I said this to Alex the other day, that as a manager, you shouldn't have any favourites. You probably can go to one or two of your players and say, you know what, you're my favourite, and just to try and get some kind of competitive edge amongst them. But you don't have favourites. You don't play favourites, because at some point they're going to let you down. And the business of football is results. You win or you draw or you lose. Now, Arteta is a manager still. He's a coach, but he's a manager in training. I think that we tend to forget that, because when he came in, it was all about, well, hang on a minute now, what about Ancelotti? What about all these other managers that was up there potentially? But we said, you know what, let's put faith in this guy. We put our faith into him. 8th, 5th, 2nd, you know what I mean? So he may be on the way up, but we also asked for him to have a plan B, because he never seemed to have a plan B, and to be ruthless. And if he is understanding that and he's doing that in his stride, then this may be you have to sit on your hands kind of scenario. We have to let him become that kind of manager, because that's what we're asking. We have to be very careful about what we're asking for. We all said that. I remember, I forgot his name, the manager of Aston Villa.
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery. I wanted Unai Emery out because we hit 4th. I wanted him out because we hit 4th. I put my hand up. I'm not sure if many other Arsenal fans would do that, but we weren't happy with Unai Emery, and we was 4th. And then when Arteta came in, we went below that. We lost everything, and it's taken us this kind of slow time to get back up there. So most of the players he has kind of like garnished from Unai Emery. This is the team now where this is his team. And we have to, if we're asking for him to be ruthless, if it means that he has to send Tierney out, if somebody comes in for, I don't know, 150 million for Gabriel, for example, and he thinks that, well, maybe I can get maybe 2 or 3 players in that position and in front, then that's part of being ruthless. But he has to do it for the right reasons. And sometimes our reasons and his reasons are never going to marry up until the results come in. So I think that we have to be very kind of like careful, but at the same time, if we're calling him out and he doesn't do what he's meant to be doing, then that's all fair game. But if he's doing what we ask him to do and he does it, although we don't like it, but he's doing it, then we have to bite our tongue.
Prosper, I just want to pick up on something that you were saying about, with Arteta, if he doesn't like you for whatever reason, then he will get you out. Surely, if we just isolate, let's just say, for example, Kieran Tierney, all right? So he's gone out on loan because I get the feeling that Tierney doesn't fit the style of football that he wants Tierney to play. So he's brought in Zinchenko.
Exactly.
So, but is that not a good thing to try and create competition? If you're not good enough, I'll get somebody else who can do the job that I'm asking them to do. Is that not a good thing, Prosper?
It's a good thing, but you have to also trade carefully. As Rafa was saying, I mean, you really need to understand that football is a collective game. You're not playing one man on a console, you're playing 12 players. If I'm in a club and my best friend is being booted out, my morale will go down. And if I'm the star in the club, I'm always looking back at our history. I don't feel Thierry Henry would be comfortable if Pires wasn't playing for whatever dodgy reasons apart from football. Those guys would stand up for each other and say, no, we don't want that guy. We don't want that Chelsea guy here. This guy is all-blooded Arsenal. Let him stay. Even if Havertz is better than Emile Smith Rowe, let him stay. And they would stand up for each other. But look at what we have now. You see? Because it's not only about the quality that the player brings in, but it's also about the team spirit. If you get out that one player, how much damage does it have to the rest of the players? Because they'll be also playing for money. And if somebody comes up with a big paycheck, they'll be like, well, it's all about business here. I'm going. You see? So I'm worried about those.
Prosper brought up a good point again, Emile Smith Rowe. Now look at this. From what I've been hearing, there's been some warnings now that potentially he could go.
Yeah.
And if he was to go to our rivals, then how will you feel about that? It is a very, very difficult landscape to traverse when you are a coach stroke manager in the making, there's going to be some decisions that you have to take by yourself, and there's some decisions you have to make within the collective. If you want to look at if you want to look at Arsenal, as it were, look at the Aubameyang situation. The man didn't turn up for a North London derby. That's like a sackable offence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his whole demeanour went downhill from that point on. He went over to Barcelona, if you remember watching the documentary.
Yeah.
And there was no talk of him going to Barcelona, but he went over there. And then since we edged him out, everything else seemed to have come. We haven't really missed him. In fact, when we played against Chelsea and he played against us, I think it was Gabriel. And,
did he play? Was he playing?
Well, there's rumours that he was on the pitch.
Yeah,
There's rumours he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
But you know,
he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
We saw him on the lineup.
that famous Chelsea advert campaign that he did, it backfired.
Yeah.
It backfired.
Yeah.
So it's all good when it goes good, but then the flip side is if the manager decides to say, you know what, Emile Smith Rowe, there's no place for you, but Chelsea wants you and they're paying a bundle, we're not going to be happy because he's one of our own. But the manager will, if he thinks that he can get the finance to justify that decision, that's part of his job.
But then what about, you know, we kind of touched on Gabriel, right? Had a formidable partnership with William Saliba until William Saliba got injured towards the end of the season. What's happened to Gabriel? Hasn't started any of the 3 games in the Premier League. Prosper, what's going on with Gabriel?
Yeah, Gabriel, I can't say much as Rolf is saying, you know, but I just feel like, you know, Gabriel is a hothead.
Yeah.
He's the kind of player who won't take anything, even from the manager. Probably he uttered something. That's what I'm in training or somewhere. Then now he's paying for that. You know, there's a lot that happens in the dressing room that we don't get to notice or to see, but I feel there's something happening there. And whoever goes against Almighty has a problem.
Against Almighty. Who's Almighty? I know who
That's
you're
what we
talking
can tell. Yeah. Yeah. So now, I didn't finish answering the question about Tierney, right? So as Ralph was saying, if it all goes well, it all goes well. But as a manager, Ralph stressed this point. You can't have one system. As a manager, you can't have one system. These are recurring problems that we've had with Arteta for the past 3 seasons. And that's why we've been missing out on crucial points. Because when we start out good, then the opponents study our system and they understand it. Then we don't have a plan B. You see? So plan B is where you have good players like good lower players like Emile Smith Rowe, Tierney, who don't fit in your default system, fit in another system that you might not like. Even you as a manager must be able to adjust and, you know, learn something new with the players that you have, because you can't always have the players that you want. You see? So in that case, Arteta is supposed to have 2-3 systems that can fit other players in. So that if one system is figured out, we should have a backup plan that should carry us to the end of the season, not going completely flat. You know, and replacing players, player for player, doesn't change anything if the system doesn't change.
But Prosper, before you went off the last time, I was asking you the question: Are we being too hypercritical because we've only played 3 games?
It's not us being hypocritical. I mean, the problems we have in today can be traced back to the past season and the other season. What we're trying to say is, where is that center forward we needed? Where is that other defending midfielder, hard tackling defending midfielder we needed? They're not there, but we're busy buying Kai Havertz and all other players that we don't need and chasing players that we need. You see? So it's recurring problems all over again. Then now we're going into tactics that we don't even understand on a crucial game. I mean, there's no way I'm going to look at Fulham as a small team. That's a London team. Every London game is a tough game. And then you start tinkering the team like that. One mistake in the first minute, and 2 points are gone. Now we're playing catch up. You see?
Yeah. Talking about tinkering, Thomas Partey as a right back. I'll put him on the right side of the picture here.
Exactly.
Ralph, Thomas Partey as a inverted right back.
Ralph.
Can I? Okay. We've talked about this during the watch along and on the platforms, everywhere else. The time to experiment is always at pre-season because one, you're allowed to make as many mistakes as possible. Two, if you're playing against your Premiership rivals, you've got an idea of how they're going to play. And three, if you're going to do any experimentation, you know if it's going to work or not. Now, on another podcast, I've observed someone said that how we played Thomas Partey right back. I think it was the last match of the season, last match or the match before last of the season, and it didn't work. It didn't work then. So if it didn't work then, what makes you think it's going to work now?
You know what, Ralph?
Now, I want to give you one other thing. Excuse me. There's one other thing. During the friendly, we play against Man United. Tell me, anyone who's watching, if Man United treated that match in the States, in New York, as a friendly. Because they handled us. And we had no, I think we may have had maybe 1 or 2 shots at goal. And that was it. I think, no, Martinelli had an earlier chance and he missed it. But they handled us that first half. And I'm expecting the same again this Sunday.
Absolutely.
They learn by the mistakes. They learn by the mistakes. How many times has Arsenal, within the first 5 minutes, have they conceded early? Last season, and the start of this season. About 4 games where we were down a goal before 5 minutes. Now, if it happens once, it's a blip. But if it happens 2 other times in the same season, then it means that 1, that your defenders are not prepared. 2, you as a manager has not identified the problem. And 3, you haven't done the Fergie hairdryer bit when it happens. Because, with Fergie, if you make a mistake, well, Fergie and Pep, I'll say I'll add in Klopp. I don't think Klopp is ruthless. Klopp is very tactile, and he'll move people out. But he can be passionate, but then he has a reason behind it. But it's more, for me, it's more about Fergie and Pep. Pep is like a shark.
Mourinho as well.
Mourinho as well. Yeah.
Well, Mourinho he will call you out during a post-match scenario, because he'll say, you know what, I put my defenders up and they didn't do the job. It was so and so. This is one of the things that Arsene Wenger wasn't, and I think sometimes Arsene Wenger, for all his faults and everything, he gave the responsibility to the player. But if the player doesn't understand, and if the player doesn't want to take responsibility for making a mistake, it has a detrimental effect on the team. But Pep and Fergie is all right. this is my team. I'm the boss. Pep is, right, this is my team. If you're not playing well, I don't even have to say anything. It's only recently he had a go at Haaland. He had a go at Haaland at half time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he will get you out systematically. He'll do it based on form, on your character, or whatever it is that he got you in the first place. Whatever that he liked about you in the first place, he'll use that as a weakness in the second place to get rid of you as well. But with Fergie is, if you don't do the job, then you're out. I've got plenty others. I've got youngsters that want to be in your place. So that's what it kept Man United so buoyant and so up there. Liverpool, they had that in years back, but not so much now. But Arsenal, this team, 3 goals in under 5 minutes. Well, the first one was 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a problem, and the manager he hasn't seen it. Even in my worst games, I'm not a pro or anything, but even my worst games, we never ever conceded within 10 seconds. maybe about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, but never like 10 seconds. 10 seconds unheard of. You're talking about Usain Bolt playing against you.
Yeah, alarm bells.
It's big alarm bells. It's big alarm bells with us playing against Man United. Because like I said, the friendly that it was meant, we went in as a friendly. They saw it as a Premiership fixture, and they handled us. And if we are not prepared, it's going to be more of the same.
Prosper, why are we playing Thomas Partey as an inverted right back?
I don't think. Look here, as Ralph put it, we're not professionals in football. Arteta knows it better than us, but still, we can see it. We've watched more games than him. Arteta is younger than me. I'm made to believe so. I was an Arsenal fan before I even dreamt of playing for Arsenal. Anyway, so I've got the right to pick a bone with him. Yeah, so this is a kind of scenario where you have a very good player who plays very well in his position, and you're trying to move him for whatever reasons. So at the next game, when he makes a mistake, you put in Jorginho, you put in the player you want to be playing. That's all I see in that. There's no other reason why Partey should be pushed to the right back.
Yeah.
But apart from finding fault in him so that he can be removed from the team, the Arteta way.
And
I'm not buying it.
And I thought that's why we brought Declan Rice, so it can be the double pivot in the midfield there.
Exactly.
Declan Rice, a deep line defender, so Thomas Partey can do the things that he's good at doing. But
yes,
no, you got him as an inverted right back. That once we're pushed up, he gets inverted, and that's why I don't blame Bukayo Saka, because automatically he's probably thinking in his mind there's going to be someone on the right hand side or behind him to pick up the ball, but there was no one there.
Alex, I have to correct you.
Go on.
I'm sorry, but when you're in forward play, there was no reason really for Saka to play the ball back to that spot, because I said this to you before about playing heads up rugby. You play what's in front of you, right? You play what's in front of you. If you are crowded out and you play the ball backwards, what you're doing, you're helping the opposition advance in yardage more. He could have just knocked the ball forwards and run onto it if he wanted to. But they may have applied a gameplay, but heads up football, you look to see where you're passing to. If he looked up for a second, not thinking that, hang on now, I know invertedly that Thomas is going to be in that position. If he looked up for a second, he was thinking, well, hang on, Partey's not there. Where is he? Oh, his lateral, or he's moved up.
But Brad, that's an experiment that Arteta has done for some reason. You leave that in the pre-season, Ralph, not in a situation like this. And
I said that at the start. I agree with you at the start. I said this at the start as well. Everything that you're trying to do, you get it out of your system in pre-season. You can call the players back in early before the season kicks off, in pre-season. This is the scenarios I'm going to go through. Let's have this. Let's do that. That's why, for example, I think last season as well, they had about maybe 3 or 4 games that was closed doors. Because that's what you do. You know, if another Premiership team wants to do that, then fair enough. Closed doors. You do your experimentation then. Oh, you know what? Thomas Partey at right back doesn't work because look what Saka just done. He just laid the ball back. That's okay. Closed doors. Not okay when you're trying to get 3 points.
Ralph, we've both seen the documentary 89, haven't we?
With countless.
And Smudgy has said many times they practice that move where he scored the goal. Yeah. Never thinking that he would have scored the goal in, playing against Liverpool. So sometimes with muscle and memory, you do things as it comes second nature. And I'm telling you now, Ralph, Bukayo Saka, it's because Arteta experimented with that situation there. Thomas Partey, a right back is going to invert. Bukayo Saka normally would have a Ben White on the side there. And both of them will be bombing down the right-hand side, Ralph. That's a situation that he's not accustomed to being there. Facing the wrong way and expecting someone to be there in the right back. But there's no one there. Thomas Partey is inverted, Ralph.
Alex,
go on, Ralph.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
But you don't.
I agree with you in principle.
As the older brother, all right, sir.
I agree with you in principle. But the thing is, yeah, that last minute goal, fantastic. Yeah, the goalkeeper, Lee Dixon, Smudger, everybody knows. Everybody knew where they had to be. Everybody knew what they had to be. Okay, but no one could have told Michael Thomas that the ball was going to come off the back of a defender when he knocked it on.
No, but you've got to make sure you're in position.
Okay, granted, he's in position, but he had an earlier chance. They had a pass. He had an easier chance to score the goal. Okay, so there are some set plays that you can rely on, and there are some kind of like ways that you think, you know what, but you only do those things when your team is gelled and your team knows where everyone's meant to be. Not any of those players in that match played a pass that wasn't received by their teammates in those areas. Why? Because they played a system. They all knew about the system. It took them time to play that system, and the only time when it came off maybe just one time.
Exactly.
But the other times when they played, never did that way of playing resulted in a goal for the opposition, because the opposition had to get possession of us to score. We gift, and you know this more than and any Arsenal fan knows this. We gift goals. We have to score goals. Nobody ever gives us a freebie. We have to earn it. We have to work for it. When we're in a position whether we're 2 goals up against Liverpool, 2 goals up against West Ham, a goal against Chelsea, for example, we settle down. We say, oh, you know what? We've just gone a bit too much of ourselves, and we gift goals. That's why when it comes to Sheffield United, when it comes to Fulham, when it comes to Southampton, when it comes to Brighton, when it comes to West Ham, all these teams that we decide that we can outplay them, we can outpass them, we can do all that little ticky-tacky football, all of a sudden, we lose possession, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, hang on now, we're meant to defend. And, oh, guess what? We'll go down. Oh, guess what? We'll go down before we even got out the blocks.
Ralph, listen, I take your point about playing heads up, but sometimes you need to have your head down. And I'm telling you, I'm absolutely right in my opinion, that Bukayo Saka was expected to see his right back, which normally would have been a Ben White in that position there. But because he's had a Thomas Partey experiment, shifting from the right back going into the inverted position there, he was expecting to see someone there, and there was no one there. But I take your point. Play heads up. But that.
Let me just elaborate on that point further.
They didn't even get to finish. But go on.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, heads up. You got to play. If you're going to experiment, then it means everyone has to be on the same song sheet. It means that everybody knows where everybody is. But that is an experiment that you have to do time after time after time after time. But when you're in game time, and you're dependent on your formation, dependent on who you've got that can actually be inverted and know where they've got to be when they're attacking or defending, then that pass would have gone back to the person that would have been in that position.
I don't blame Bukayo Saka for that. And the funny thing is, as well, the proof is in the pudding. Look how they were playing against Fulham, Ralph. They looked confused, fragmented. They weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing. Yeah. And again,
we said that. We said that. But the thing is, Alex, you don't experiment you experiment before you execute. You experiment. You make sure everybody is on board. You make sure everything that you tinkered and you played with, everybody knows where it is. When you go into game time, everybody should be on song. Of course, football is about mistakes as well, and that was a mistake. But then we got ourselves back in the ascendancy, defending a corner. We give, like I said before, we give away cheap goals. We give away cheap free kicks. We give away cheap corners, and they come back and hurt us because we don't have the discipline. If you're training your team and you say to them, you know what, if you're going to create a foul, make sure it's at the opposition's end. If anything happens in our half, you do your level best to stay on your feet. You don't dive in. You put the person on the wrong foot, whatever it is. You don't pull a shirt if you're in the box. Don't give anything to a referee because VAR, the referee, crowds are always against us. We're never going to get it our way. But you do all that kind of experimentation at the beginning. When it comes to game time, like I said before, you've got to have the nous. You've got to have the technical nous to say, oh, you know what? I know he's invited. I know Thomas is meant to be there, but hang on, give me a second. What's wrong with giving yourself a second? What's wrong with putting your foot on the ball? Why is it that we keep on heading the ball back to our opposition when there's no need? Hold the ball. See where your players are. The amount of sloppy passes that Partey, that everybody did. Everybody did sloppy passes in that match. I said during the watch along, to feet. I've never seen an Arsenal team put passes where their teammate wasn't. The ball went behind or went too far in front. It was never to feet.
And I thought I could rant.
A little bit. A little bit.
Let me go into live chat, Ralph.
Okay. Is possible going to come back?
I was about to say that he sent me a message to say that he's lost connection, and I said, well, try and come back in. But let's see anyway. Let me go into the live chat anyway. We've got Carl, ever resident Liverpool supporter. So, hi everyone. And this is in response to Eddie Nketiah making he's in the first senior squad now. Must have paid Southgate to get back into the England team. I don't think so. It's well deserved, Carl. Well deserved.
Naughty.
This is from John McGee. Says, evening Gunners, is Salah off to
Mysterious.
What's that massive
Wassar.
All right, from Turkey. Okay, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Who else do we have here? John says, all right. So he's just saying that the network has let him down, so he won't be coming back in.
Okay.
Shame.
Take care, boss man.
Yeah, I got money on Mo Salah, Premier League top scorer. Okay. Then John says that Arteta takes no prisoners, no loyalty.
I think he's learned that's a bitter lesson for him.
Where has he learned that from? He's learned it from Pepe, hasn't it? From Pep. Yeah.
And Uber.
Yeah, Carl says that Ireland will be top scorer, I think, without a shadow of a doubt. Carl, what's your handle on Twitter? Oh, right, yeah, I think I've got his Twitter handle. Oh, baby, there's a man from heaven called Kai Havertz.
That new song.
Yeah, well, I've said I don't want to go in hard on a guy anymore. I've tried
No.
to draw a line underneath it. He just needs to prove us, well, some of us are wrong anyway, at least.
I was going to say something to Alex.
Yeah, go on.
What would you mark Arteta so far out of 10?
Based on what? On the season?
Based on just the 3 games for the time being.
I'll give him a 2 out of 10.
And there's one other question as well I was going to ask you. Go on, we go through the questions and then ask you.
Okay. Ben White suffering the same fate as Emile Smith Rowe. Southgate never going to play him for England again. And Prosper Arteta getting above a station, unsettling the players. Yeah. Been loyal, and guess there's no loyalty in the football anymore, is there, Ralph?
Nope.
Not that like button, slackers, says Colin. Colin, good evening to you. Good afternoon. Hit that like button, slackers. And with Arteta, we are doomed. I say doomed. He's arrogant and clueless. Doomed. Any information on Pepe? Well, I did say actually that he has turned down the chance to move to Besiktas, which I think was his best opportunity to leave the club. But who knows? In the next 24 hours, there might be some takers for Nicolas Pepe. We have a good bus with no driver. Oh, I was wondering where this was going. We have a good bus with no driver. He's too arrogant. Okay. Kai is going to destroy Arsenal single-handedly. Watch the space. He's going to destroy. Well, he plays for Arsenal, so how can he just? Oh, I think I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Why buy Kai? All right, now I understand. Why buy Kai Havertz when good, cheaper players are there? Right now, I understand what you're saying. Oh dear. Ray, welcome back again, Ray. Let's go.
Ray.
We are gonna win the Champions League.
Enjoy it while it lasts. That's what I was trying to say.
2 out of 10 has not been that bad. We're unbeaten and only drew once. You're hard. You're hard to please. I am. Do you know why it is, Ray? Because we haven't won the Premier League in 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to hold Arsenal to the highest level possible. And I don't want to get into the politics about Unai Emery, and he wasn't given time, not even the money, compared to Mikel Arteta, who hasn't only won FA Cup with Unai Emery's squads and a couple of charity shields. So you know where this is going to. But I'll leave it there. Ralph, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up this one?
There was something, but I think I'll probably just save it for the next video. Yeah.
All right. So a lot of the viewers were expecting me to talk about the Champions League. That's going to be coming in tomorrow. Yeah, James Rowe and Jonathan from Arsenal Colombia will be on the show tomorrow, talking about Arsenal, of course, in the Premier League as well as the Champions League. So this is our Group B: Arsenal, Sevilla, PSV, and Lens. So expect for us to be chomping on the bits tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time, Ralph. 5 p.m. UK time. Oh, my goodness. Anything else you want to say, Ralph, before we wrap up this one?
No, just thanks a lot for calling me last minute. I'd like to have seen more Prosper, but connections and that kind of stuff. But no, I feel almost kind of like cleansed in a way. I feel like I've got something out of my system until the next watch along comes along there, and then that's what's going to happen.
All right. Well, anyway, so I'll return the question to you. Out of 10, Ralph, Arteta.
3.
All right. Well, Colin,
that's like 1 out of 10 for the last 3 matches.
All right.
Underwhelmed.
All right. So that is that. Next time you see me will be tomorrow. I don't think my brother's going to be joining me, but you will be seeing Ralph. I think on Sunday, Ralph. Watch along. Man United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Another watch along. Another challenging aspect. Actually, the match should be on one of the other subscriptions that I've subscribed to.
Right.
So, but like I say, it's going to be. I think it's going to be another long afternoon.
Whoa, you're going to be doing that on your own, man. I'm going to be out visiting my daughter. So,
Oh, okay, okay. Well, family comes first, as always. But
absolutely,
when the
absolutely.
family is on, all well and good, then if I want to have the time to do this, I'll do the watch along. So yeah.
But the last one I give it to Soccer Songs, who says Kai is the goat. Well, last time I checked, goat is an animal, isn't it?
You know what he means, Alex.
I don't know what he's talking about. Anyway,
You know.
anyway, people, thank you for listening to Prosper, who unfortunately lost his connection, and my brother Ralph as well on this late. Is it late? Not late. It's just late show. Late show. Until then, enjoy the remnants of your evening or your morning or your afternoon, because I don't know which part of the world you're in. You know, I know Ralph is just around the corner in Wales. You know, same time zone.
Just a little bit over there.
But this has been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.